Hey guys, hope you're well. Okay, let's go straight into this. ATP Tour Finals Day 5. I'm pretty sure it's Day 5, yeah. Okay, if you haven't already, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the vids. Thank you very much. Subscribing really does help, so thank you to those who have, and thank you very much for 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Please continue to subscribe so that you can get the best content, and click the notification button as well to make sure you get alerted for all the new vids. Alrighty, so 2 matches to get through. Nadal versus Tsitsipas, shootout for the semi-finals, and Thiem versus Rublev. Thiem already qualified for the semi-finals, and Rublev already out of the ATP Tour Finals, but playing for pride. Let's go into the shootout with Nadal and Tsitsipas first. The evening match, but I want to go into it because, of course, this was the most important one. Okay, a little bit of background. Tsitsipas had only beaten Nadal once, but it was on clay last year, to be fair. And Tsitsipas being the reigning champion, you can imagine that he really wanted to make sure that he could claw his way back into contention. Nadal looking to make his first semi-final in this competition for 5 years. So both of them got a point to prove. Okay, let's go into a bit of analysis then into the game. Into the match even. Tsitsipas utilised drop shots pretty well, actually, to be fair. It's a good effect throughout this game, and tried to, this match even, especially that first set, he tried using the same shot. He tried using the same shot that Thiem used against Nadal, which is that into-out forehand to Nadal's forehand, where he tried to drag Nadal out. It did work to some degree and did cause some damage. He tried to utilise that. And in the first set, he had some success, as I said, with that drop shot especially. Nadal, though, had the first break point opportunity at 3-3, but Tsitsipas held on well to win that point. It was such a good point where Nadal was it's just a classic Nadal defensive point, and he ended up getting 2 smashes back, reading them well, getting them back, and the third one, he just couldn't quite get it back into court, and it drifted wide, and a good hold in the end from Tsitsipas. But a turning point in that set, and this has been a little bit of a theme to a degree. These are such top players. You don't normally expect this to happen that often. But Tsitsipas at 4-4 and a break point down, he double faulted. Weird. I know there's pressure, of course, and these are pressure cooker matches, but it's not the amount of double faults. It's the double faults on really important points that stands out to me, and it's happened on a few matches. I'm not sure why, because obviously they're indoors, so you can't blame the conditions. It's just to do with, I think, the pressure at that time. Anyway, so that gave Nadal a 5-4 lead and a chance to serve it out. And yeah, one thing I want to mention actually is Nadal's ability up the net. Amit mentioned it on one of the previous videos, the head coach at Team LTC, and gave his expert opinion on his ability at the net, and said that he maybe doesn't have the most orthodox technique, but his feel at the net and is just incredible. And I think Nadal showed that again. Tim Henman was a bit harsh to say that him and Nadal and Federer have only got a feel of about 6 or 7 out of 10. I know Henman was a very good volleyer, but a bit cheeky from him. Anyway, he managed to actually serve and seal the set out with an ace eventually, Nadal, and I think his serving has definitely been a plus for me in this tournament so far. Didn't serve as well, I thought, in this match, but I think Tsitsipas didn't either, and I think that kind of cancelled each other out, but he'll need to serve a lot better in his semi-final against Medvedev, it will be, who's obviously in form. Anyway, to go into the second set. So sorry, spoiler, Nadal won this 2-1. If you're wondering why am I talking about the semi-final with Nadal. So Nadal at love and had a break point, but Tsitsipas unleashed this incredible bullet of a backhand in reply to a return, a very loopy return in the end by Nadal. And it was just one of those ones where it popped up half court, on that one-handed backhand, just beautiful, just absolutely creamed it. Clipped the line as well. Nadal had no chance, stranded, saved that break point and then held in the end. Tsitsipas, as though hit that tactic of drop shots on occasion, it wasn't quite as effective in that second set. Nadal was getting to those balls and putting them away. But it didn't really matter because even though Nadal didn't look likely at all to get broken throughout the whole set, really, it was at 5-4, Tsitsipas actually opened up break points and he was 40-15 up. And Nadal, at 40-30, say that first break point, at 40-30, guess what he did? Why have I been talking about double faults? Because he double faulted and conceded the set. So it got broken and conceded the set 6-4 and took it into deciding set. I mean, yeah, just twice in this match it happened, and it's just really weird, as I said. Anyway, at 1-1 after breaking each other, Nadal then broke Tsitsipas to love, and a number of unforced errors gave Nadal that break, and a similar theme again on Tsitsipas' serve at 4-2 down. Trying to save a break point, he dragged an into-out forehand wide, and at 5-2, this topsy-turvy match had Nadal serving for it, and he sealed it with a quality backhand down the line. Just set it up really nicely. Hit a couple of cross courters, moving Tsitsipas around really nicely. Then it just sat up nicely for him at the back of the court, but he had to really execute it well, and he did. And he crunched that backhand down the line for a winner and to book his place in the semi-finals, as I said, for the first time in 5 years. Tsitsipas, being the defending champion, obviously bowed out the tournament, but look, it was a very good effort from him, and to be honest with you, it was another match like Djokovic versus Medvedev the day before. It's a match of high quality, I thought, and I think Nadal's going to be very happy to go through. Tsitsipas will be disappointed, but there's a few things that I think the commentators were talking about with Tsitsipas. I think one thing especially is his return of serve that needs to be improved, especially the depth and his the placement of his returns needs to be improved. A little bit of temperament maybe in terms of sometimes. So one of the sets he was in double figures, and in terms of unforced errors, I think it was the third set he'd already got into double figures. That third set was pretty bad for him. I think he really gave it away in the end. But look, I mean, he's still young, only 22, and already won this tournament, which is really impressive. I'm assuming he's going to really push on next year, and we'll see how he does. But as the commentators rightly said, he's got the base and he's got all the tools and shots in the bag to become a great player. It's a little bit of the intricacies, I think, his serve plus one shot, return plus one shot, those types of things that he needs to improve on a little bit, and that will give him the upper hand because he's got all the ability, I think, and that base in terms of he's good off both wings. He's very good at his movement's pretty good as well. He moves very well around the court. He's got pretty good touch. He's a decent server, pretty big. Places his serve pretty well when it's on. There's just a few things he needs to work on, and I'm sure he will be coming into 2022. That's a bit premature, isn't it? Into 2021 after that off season in hot form, I would assume. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so Thiem versus Rublev. This was, as I said, it's a dead rubber. Doesn't really mean anything, but it meant something for sure to Rublev. That's for sure. And before I go into the match, Rublev had actually won the two previous matches these two had contested, and that's not a surprise considering Rublev has won 5 tournaments this year, the highest of I think anyone, I'm pretty sure. But Thiem, being the form player, especially considering this tournament, having already booked his place in the semis, was really looking to make sure it wasn't a third time in a row. But as I said, Rublev playing for pride. And did he play or what? I mean, Thiem may not have wanted to lose to him 3 times in a row, and he wasn't at his best, but this is the best I've seen Rublev play. What a performance. I mean, it's amazing because it's just one of those things, right, that Amit mentioned about Rublev being, and so did I, that Rublev tends to want to smash that ball, really smash the felt off that tennis ball. And when he's hot, he's really hot. And this is definitely one of those matches where he was very hot. You know what? It's a weird one because I think I personally don't think Thiem was playing his best. But maybe it's a little bit of a style. We talk about in boxing that styles make fights. And I think in tennis to a degree there is that. I think Medvedev's style, for example, for Djokovic doesn't like it, and there's a reason why he's lost a few times to Medvedev. Doesn't have the best record against him. Similarly, Thiem against Rublev. There's a reason why probably that Rublev keeps on beating him, and it's obviously he doesn't like the way that Rublev plays. And I think the fact that Rublev hits his forehand so hard to that backhand of Thiem's, it makes him uncomfortable, and he pulled it off in this match. Broke him in that first game, and then from there on, he blitzed him in that first set, really. And one thing I want to mention, actually, that I think did improve in this match especially, is his returning. Because his returning in the first two matches was really appalling, in my opinion. Really poor, but he got a lot of more returns back and deep returns that put him in a good position in the return games to actually give himself a chance to break. We know that he has a big serve. I do think he overhits his serve a little bit. I just felt like he was a lot more settled in this match. And I think winning that first set and being able to blitz Thiem like that, it did get him into a frame of mind that, okay, you know what? I can be settled here and play a more natural game that's not... I don't need to play a match even that is really high risk. And I think that really helped him to think, you know what, I don't need to play such a high risk match. And in the end, he wrapped it up 6-2, 7-5 in straight sets. Just incredible, I thought. So Nadal, I think I mentioned it, but 2 sets to 1, beat Tsitsipas 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 as well. So these two results, as I said, Thiem Rublev doesn't mean anything. Thiem's already through, but Nadal also through. Now, we're in a position where we may get... I think Nadal's definitely playing Medvedev. That's going to be a very good match. And we're either looking at Thiem versus Djokovic or Zverev. My bets probably, if I was a betting man, would be on Djokovic. So, I mean, if we've got Nadal versus Medvedev and Thiem versus Djokovic flipping, sign me up. That's going to be a really, really good... two really good matchups. Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that Nadal went through. Obviously, I'm a huge Nadal fan, but Thiem, I think, will lick his wounds after this because there's a bit of a beating they took from Rublev, and he'll be looking to... Well, I mean, if he's facing Djokovic or Zverev, it's going to be tough, but especially Djokovic, I think, and he'll be looking to bounce back with a bang, and I'm sure he will. Maybe that was the wake-up call he needed. Anyway, okay, that's me done, I think. Nadal, I think, has adjusted quite well to the surface. I think, again, though, against Tsitsipas, he was hitting probably a bit too many loopy forehands for that backhand side. I know it's effective. Against Thiem, it's not, because Thiem, I think, has worked that out. And he really does get over the ball and hits that one-hander really well against Nadal's loopy forehand now. Tsitsipas, not as much, but he was adapting to it again. I think Nadal's got to back himself, as I think he did in that first set and that third set. Second set was just a little bit... He was playing well. I just think he needs to make sure he doesn't get into that clay court habit that, especially he's just come out of the French, to really just rip it with lots and lots of coverage. I know that that's a defensive shot, right? That shouldn't be his go-to attacking shot. And I think at times, especially against Thiem, he was trying not to. And then eventually he had to succumb because of the pressure. But with, Rublev, he didn't. And I think against Tsitsipas, it was like in between a little bit. So against Medvedev, I don't think Medvedev is going to fall for that with that two-hander as well. So I think he's going to have to mix up well with Medvedev. Thiem is still going to be my pick, even if he faces Djokovic. I still think I'm going to stick with it. I'm just going to stick with it and see how it goes. So let's see what happens. But yeah, really excited. Thank you very much, guys. If you stay with me to the end of this video, please make sure that you like, comment, share the vids, and the biggest thing of all, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much to those who have already. Click that notification button if you want to get all the latest videos, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe, especially in these trying times, and yeah, thank you very much.